Howdy-o, everyone. Welcome to the video. I am Theology Matters, and I can't get my mic in the right spot. I am also Eli, and for my people in District 6 of Oklahoma, I am the anomaly. So, today we're talking about my great home, the reddest state of the union. Or so I thought. Oklahoma is producing a very typical performance for so-called the greatest red state of the union, said by yours truly alone. So, and the reason that I say that is because of what we're going to get into. So, but first, before anything else continues, there's a big red box. Hit that one if this is your second, third time coming out, or if you just like this face. Hit the big red box for me. It says subscribe on it usually. If it's black, thank you. And by that I mean you've already clicked on it. Not to say that you're an idiot. I don't say that to mean that you're an idiot. I'm just saying it. And if you could give me this, that would be nice. If you want to give me this one, at least write a comment. If it's just bruh, I'm okay with that. So, sorry, that is not the ending. I'd also like to thank everyone. Sorry, this is like my third time doing this thing. I'd like to thank everyone who watched the Valentina Gomez video. It got over 500 views. It is now my second most viewed video, which trumped the other, just became my second top view video with Getner Drummond. So thank you for that. But today we're actually very homebound for, hold on. Was that it? Did I do the checklist? Yeah. So we're in my home state again. My home state after one video talking about a weird Latina. To be fair, they're all kind of a little weird, to be fair. Sorry, it's just I have family. So anyways, so today we have an interesting story that's kind of old, but it took me a few days to get everything going. This video is gonna be a bit more, I wouldn't say mathematical, but definitely a bit statistical more than normal. But anyways, so North Dakota and Ohio have passed resolutions to overturn the I can't say it, the gay marriage ruling that the Supreme Court made. Now, Michigan and South Dakota have supposedly introduced introduced similar resolutions. So now there's currently 5 states. Yeah, 5 states are five. My 5 fingers being shown. North Dakota, South Dakota, so just the Dakotas, Michigan, and Montana, along with Idaho. So, and this tweet kind of when I saw this, it's like good things to hear. But what's funny is my reply to it was with Oklahoma because I know from my own state that there are, the fact that it's very red state, and we'll get into that. And surprisingly, we're not here. And so I thought I'd take a little quick look, and holy crap, it's worse. It's worse than I thought. So, before we begin anywhere, there is one thing I would have to say is because do these resolutions after actually matter? Because I actually had to look that up because okay, just because these are passed, does that mean anything's actually going to happen? So at least from the limited information I was able to find, I didn't see anything that said a verifiable yes, but it was more of the Supreme Court will consider it. If the Supreme Court should be doing Supreme Courting. But I would say this also would be if it doesn't do nothing for the gay marriage ruling, whether or not it sticks around or not, it definitely will do something, I would say, for the declaration of intent within the state. And because this will give because about a decade ago is when the decision came across, which is where I'll briefly give a brief history thing. But about a decade ago. So in a decade has changed a lot of people. Like MAGA movement, it is now gay. And I don't mean that in a adjectival way. I mean that in a straight up like rainbow flag people. Um so anyway, so Obergefell had happened over, 10 years ago, so it's coming up onto the decade now. The 14th Amendment under the Due Process and Equal Protection Clause. So, and this was brought up in Ohio. Ohio was banning same-sex marriage, which is interesting because over here it says Ohio, but I did not find Ohio. I had to eventually search it up. So American First got that one wrong, or at least when I saw it, it was Ohio. It was Idaho. I think he meant to write Idaho, but either spell check or something whacked off. So anyway, so this legalized same sex marriage though. This ruling legalized the same sex marriage. Now, since this is more of an Oklahoma video, but it definitely describes a portion, I would say, of a lot of other states, and not necessarily just other states, but definitely people. Because in Oklahoma, it's supposedly a very red state, and we kind of aren't in this fight, which is very interesting to me because I remember this because my mom said something about this, even though I was, like 3 at the time. But Oklahoma, we voted state question 717, and the state question states this measure adds a new section of law to the Constitution. It adds Section 35 to Article 2. It defines marriage to be between one man and one woman. It prohibits giving the benefits of marriage to people who are not married. It provides that same-sex marriages in other states are not valid in this state. It makes issuing a marriage license invalidation of this section a misdemeanor. Now, this was voted on November 2nd of 2004, so it's been about 2 decades. Now, the problem is the Supreme Court ruling, this kind of died. To be fair, about a decade or so less, yeah, there was, I think, a judge in Oklahoma who had basically struck this down as unconstitutional. But then it was like the Supreme Court did its job. So, or I should say the Supreme Court put the axe down on the question over legalizing same-sex marriage, or marriage, right? Um, and I'm not doing this for the entire video. I'll get tired, and honestly, you don't want to see it. So, anyways, but 76%. That's a lot of Oklahomans. Like, let's be clear. That's a lot. Like, you don't even get that. Like, hell, I don't even think the governor race in 2022 was this like contested or non-contested. This was like 3 people in Oklahoma are straight. Then there's the 4th guy. He gay. Out of 4 people, 3 are straight, 1's gay. Um sorry. But so, and this is why I would say it matters for Oklahoma, because we did vote on this. We, the people. This is a state question. This is things we had to get signatures for. Well, actually, I didn't even think it was signatures. It was the state houses and the state house and the Senate had done this, and then they sent it to us. And then we voted on it with a hell yeah. But now where are we? Where are we? There's 5 states. We should be in this. Which is why I say Oklahoma turned gay. Now, furthermore, we have so next I want to go into, and this is where we're going to get a bit more, I would say, analytical, because like, okay, there's this, right? We have the state question. What is, the state question, is 2 decades ago. It's been a while. you know Maybe we become more blue than we did then. Maybe other states are more red, and that's why I went through the math. So, excuse me. You don't need to remember too much of these numbers because I kind of made some charts after. So here's sorry, I have it up on my screen. So here is North Dakota. It has 85 Republicans. So this is the House. It has 85 Republicans. Yeah, 85 Republicans, 11 Democrats. The Senate, it has 42 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and this is for North Dakota. No, blah, 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 North Dakota. The trifecta, holy crap. So this means you have the state. A trifecta means we have the state house, the state Senate, and the governor. Except for the 3-year in 1992 to 4 when they had a governor, and like there were still no trifectas, but there's been a whole lot of Republican trifectas for this entire time frame. All for North Dakota, which is insane. Now we have Idaho. Idaho has 61 Republicans, 9 Democrats. Senators, we have 35 senators and 3 Democrats in the Senate. Um, oh, sorry, wrong one. Sorry, wrong one. 61. So it was 61 to 9. It's just gonna be Republicans and Democrats. I'm not saying that. It's gonna be Republicans and I'll say Democrats. So Idaho, it's 61 to 9, 29 to 6, a red stronghold for crying out loud. That's just one governor that seeps in. All the like literally all the way. I'm pointing at my screen, but all the way I'm pointing near the to 94 when there's just one governor. For crying out loud, it's almost a mirror image of this, except the Senate went blue for 3 years. Um, we're going on to South Dakota. Um, South Dakota, 64 to 6, 32 to 3, and it's a red stronghold. For crying out loud, that's a weird midterm. That literally is just that. It's a midterm. That was weird. Um, then we have Michigan because there was also there. And when I heard Michigan, I was like, damn, like really? Really? And this is Michigan really, if they do it, Oklahoma truly is. Because Michigan is 58 to 52. And then we have an 18 and 19. That is a blue. That they're like if we go to the trifecta, it is now in a mixed house. There's been some Republicans stronghold. It's held a Republican trifecta, but I would say it's more of a toss up because that it's so unevenly dispersed. It's like sometimes it's a lot of Republican, there's some Democrats. Like before the 2000s, it looks pretty red, except for occasionally the House, and then it kind of you got the governors, and then Whitmer I think is from the 19 to now. So, but it's very intriguing to me because if Michigan actually does, wait, why do I have Michigan? Oh yeah, sorry. I've done this like 3 or 4 times trying to validate the states. So I thought for a minute I had the wrong ones. No, Michigan. Michigan is one. So, yeah, Michigan, I said practically everything for it. Montana, 58 to 42, 32 to 18. Very heavy red leaning. There is only the governor took over. There was one governor, then or two. Sorry, that might have been two. Two governors. That's about it. It's very red, heavy leaning. It may not be a red stronghold like this is, but it definitely is close. We're on Montana. Yeah. Now we get into Oklahoma. So my state, right? My state. Sorry, I heard a noise. So we have 80 to 19, 39 to 8. And we are very new red leaning, which I did not know. I assumed because my track, my life begins here. It begins in '01. So I don't even know who this is. I know that this is Fallon, and then at some point it's Stitt. But I don't know who this is because I was 8. And so anyways, so hell, I didn't even know that at some point we were really Democrats. Um, but anyways, so very new red leaning, right? In the 20 in the 10s, it looks like we started becoming more red. So now, actually, I had to stay there. Sorry. So this is and this is why I said don't keep the numbers. So basically, what I did is this chart, and I'll full screen it. So this chart shows you the percentages of the red. So this is totaling up the for every chamber we add up all the people there, and then it's basically who are Republicans divided by the total. That is essentially it, and that comes up with a percentage because each person has to vote, and thus there's like getting over that 60%, right? That's the super majority, and then the 50% is just the simple majority. So, but I also put a different column in here. So I also put wrong side a red supermajority. Now this is at 60%, just straight 60%. So anything above this line, anything higher than this, so like Oklahoma, it's above a supermajority. And don't worry about the colors. The colors are just to differentiate the two. I knew I should have swapped out the blue. It looks weird. it looks like it's a Democrat and Republican. But like, we go down to Montana. It's got a little bit above the supermajority. It's barely, but it's there. Michigan, it is not even cusping 50 yet, right? But we talked about all these 5 states. These are the 5 states. And now I think it was passed in North Dakota, and then it was, in Idaho, I think was the other one. I think in South Dakota, I think all the other 3, they're still in either committee, they were just being introduced, which doesn't really do some stuff. So, but anyways, we look at this math, right? Oklahoma is, like, almost near Ohio, except our house is a little bit less, but, let's see, it has only 35, and we have 47 senators. Oh, wait, that's a house. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's a house. Sorry. Wrong. See, this is why I should have switched the colors. Or actually, now that I think about it, I did this. I forget I have stuff. Future past me knows future me needs this, but future me forgets past me knows future me. So this is the state house people. So this again is a super majority. So this should be a 60-40. So here's the thing. We have Michigan, it's pretty even. The Idaho, South Dakota, North Dakota, all very heavy, excuse me, all very heavy very heavy. I think I screwed up math somewhere here. Um no wait, this is Michigan. Sorry, wrong state. Um So, anyways, but again, we're having these introductions, though. The introductions is also very important because that's at least a step, right? Introduce an introduction. It's at least a step. Um, Now I don't know if they've gone further. Um, in this video, I don't particularly care that it goes further. But again, we look at this math. Um, we do see that Oklahoma is very red, more than the supermajority, more than Montana. It looks like Montana, it shouldn't have been released in Montana comparatively, and but for some because in Oklahoma, we're mirroring almost these guys, so we should be. And that was just the House. This is the Senate, and we are actually doing barely what Idaho is, which I think in the other one I talked about Idaho, but again, the supermajority, we're above it by a lot, mind you. Now I think this was again the percentages. So supermajority was all like just the 60%. So we have at least what looks like it would be a 60%. Like the volume metrics of just like the 2 different columns. Like Michigan or not Montana looks like it would be a little um different or a little more synonymous to the red majority, but Oklahoma doesn't. And that's why I say, why isn't Oklahoma in these states? Given on the math that we have of the current structure within our government, why isn't it us? Like, why aren't we doing any of this? And that's just intriguing to me because supposedly we're in this such red state, but then we're not doing anything about it. Like that was a whole reason. Like the anomaly exists kind of for this reason, not solely, but for this reason of going and not just being the follower, but the trendsetter. And that's the thing. North Dakota, and the other Dakota, South Dakota, Michigan, Montana, Idaho, we're losing. We're gonna be 6th. We should have been the 1st. Or at least the 2nd, but no, we're gonna be the 6th, and even then, we may not even be. Because so later I looked this is from Them, which is a very leftist site, I think more. Um, so the 5 states that I had, finally got them all figured out. So we were dealing with the Michigan, Idaho, Montana, and the Dakotas. Now there were 4 other states, sorry, 4 other states, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. We have introduced some legislation to create covenant marriage. Now here's the thing. You might be like, "Oh, Oklahoma's actually doing something about it." Yeah, no. Yeah, nope. This bill, I'm pretty sure it was done by Dusty Devers of um I forgot where he is, but I know Dusty Devers. He's a newer senator. His bill was killed in committee. So yeah, no one voted on it except I think it died on like a 6-2. I think that was the ruling. It died on a 6-2 ranking. So, and again, I think the committee is made up of other state house members or senators. I would assume senators. I think senate. I didn't look too much. I knew it shut down. I didn't look at it how too much, except for the 6-2. But the senators voted on that as well. So this is a state issue still. The senators it. So that's it's still a problem of the state we live in. So anyways, so before we get into the kind of later portion, because I'm actually almost through my math, funny enough. So again, to so kind of get back to resummarization. So obviously, it's been about a decade that we've been living under the same-sex marriage. So we had a state question over 2 decades ago. 76% for banning same-sex marriage in Oklahoma. We are also having a very red legislation for some reason that doesn't want to deal with this resolution, or it's not on their opinion, and even if it was on their minds, they immediately killed it. So furthermore, and like the other portions that I bring up is our federal records or federal office record. So this is our governor, at least some other metrics. Governor, so again, it's been Fallon, Fallon, and Stitt, and then I don't remember these because I was born here. Um, but whoever this was, so some Democrat. But again, Oklahoma's gotten very red. So it's still, even though past we're still kind of blue, maybe futuristically we're very red. Excuse me. And so, and even from our US voting history, so again, I'm right here. We only had our state house, only one rep has been a Democrat. Everyone else, well, except for here, I guess. Everyone else has been a Republican. Like one of these guys is Mullen. Um, yeah, state house. So one of them's Mullen, I think. Um, so yeah. And then I didn't realize that in Oklahoma, we actually lost a state rep. So we actually lost people, I guess, at some point. Um, so anyway, so this is the state. No, not state up. This is U.S. House. So this is like the Washington D.C. people. So now we get into our senators, and it's for crying out loud. I was born here, so they've been all red every single time. One of these is Langford. Funny enough, the other one's Langford, or the other one's Mullen. Repeating that name, and then some other stuff. I know Inhofe, I think, is in here somewhere, and then Coburn maybe. So, anyways, then we get into our presidential elections, which yeah, for crying out loud, I was alive in 2020 because that's just how life works. And I saw CNN give Oklahoma to Trump. Our polls hadn't even closed. They just gave him it. We still had like another hour or two of elections, but it was just nah. Oklahoma's already his. So, anyways, we get down into basically high 60s. It's been a super majority all the way there. For crying out loud, we go further back, which again, I haven't been alive. I was alive during this time more this time. So I've only known this, but there's been all of this. I didn't realize we had more electoral college votes back then. Wow, we need more people. We've been dying, it seems. We were living and then we were dying literally in the 30s, 40s. Oh, war. Sorry, but this is World War II. This is World War II. That like the 41. So this is 2. So 1 has to be, yeah, 1's right around here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, World Wars knocked us out of some people, I guess. But anyways, like these are all the presidential stuff, and we've been voting red all the way until 64, which I don't even know who was running in 64. Because I forgot to look, and 2, because uh, it's so far. um, so yeah, that is at least the presidential elections. So again, we're going through all these numbers, and so yeah, just it's remarkable to me that we're this red state, and yet there is no, like, statistically, we are the reddest that we could be, and yet we are the slowest in the red column. So, first thing I like to say, because I'm starting the closer, because in all these videos, I like to do a little, because as I was taught in comp class, you like how papers usually go. There's like the intro, then there's like the thesis, and then there's bodies to defend your thesis, and then you restate your thesis and the conclusion, and then you give it a twist. So my twist is obviously where the closer basically. And the thing about the closer is this one's very simple, but it's not. Oklahoma, we need to be doing more. And I don't mean just a few senators or a few reps, right? We need to be doing more. Like how the government is. Like I have another video that I was not going to make until I started looking up some stuff. And holy crap, Oklahoma is sucking balls. And I don't mean that in a gay way. Like, well, maybe, maybe, but we fail to do our duty. Like I want to complain about this, right? The problem is that a lot of this is done by state reps that have been voted in from you and me, or at least you think, because this is what you get off. Like, I know I'm using Ballotopedia a lot, but like, this is what you get on a lot of state reps in Oklahoma is that the primary was canceled and that they won. Everyone wins. And the most they had to do was file their papers. That's it. Put $500 in, they're done. No one came after him. No Republicans. Not even the Democrats dared to at least hope that they could take him on. And, to me, I would expect some challenges here and there, but nothing happens. And to me, when I see stuff like this, if any Oklahoman wants to complain about how the government is, which to be fair, we all bitch about the government, it's kind of on our own doing. Is that no one's willing to step up, which is kind of why I said the anomaly exists. Is that I never intended to be a politician, yet I'm gonna have to if we're dealing with this type of crap. Like Deaver's bill was killed. I probably would have been I would have to look at it still, but the covenant marriage and making marriage between a man and a woman and trying to ensure that it's sacramental is definitely something that I'd be wanting. And I assume a lot of other Oklahomans would as well, but some of these reps may not have that same mind. Because let's be honest, who actually knows their state rep? Hell, I didn't know mine until I was going to go after him in 2024 because I just assumed everything was ookie day. And that's why I say it's on Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the people, right? Not the state. No, 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 no. And don't be all like, well, don't put all the pressure on me either as like one state rep. One state rep dies in an army of 99. He will be surrounded and then destroyed. Do not send in a man to just go on a suicide mission. Especially when it's like the light brigade, but the difference between the light brigade is, you know, at least he had a weapon. You're going to be sending me in there bare naked. Uh, so, anyways, and that's why I say, a lot of these reps win without a fight, and I think that's because a lot of people are a little lazy on that. And I understand that maybe especially as a guy wanting to run for office and calling my people lazy, um, might look like a bad idea, but again, the anomaly. I am not supposed to say, or I am supposed to say stuff that is there for practical reasons. I am going to be the guy that you can trust that I will say the most politically career ending stuff because of course I am. Because some of it needs to be said. Like Oklahoma, like my other video, this is tame. I'll tell you, this is tame. The video that I'll have next, gosh, I literally was pacing back and forth, yelling about this, about my next video for like a good 10 minutes because I thought it was funny, but also very typical of Oklahoma. So now, and so that's why I say definitely Oklahoma needs to get its act together, and that means bringing in yourself, even if you maybe didn't want to. Hell, I have a degree in aerospace and mechanical engineering. I don't want to be a politician because I know the stereotypes. For crying out loud, my mom or I was watching Attack of the Clones, so Star Wars, the second one, with my dad. My mom comes in and we're at the Padme or the Anakin Padme meme where they're in the field, and so they talk about, the government and other stuff. And then my mom said this statement, which I thought was the funniest thing ever. Um, she was like, "Oh yeah, politicians be like that, being corrupt and all." And so I look over at her like, "Thanks, mom. I'm trying to be someone. I'm trying not to be that, but thank you for the vote of confidence." So because like I'm not saying that my mom thinks I'd be dirty, but it's that a lot of politicians tend to be thinking of one person alone, which is very um antithetical to the job statement. So anyways, but furthermore, so from that, I asked the state rep. I actually had a state rep I actually asked the state rep a question. So I sent him a message and so I was like, "Hey, and a few little conversational hints, and then I do this. So, quote, I have a question that you may be the best to answer. Recently, North Dakota and Ohio have passed resolutions in their state houses to ask the Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell, the ruling that decided gay, quote, marriage. South Dakota has decided, South Dakota and Michigan have yet to vote on their own resolutions, but do you think Oklahoma will be joining them? If so, do you think it will pass? If not, why? And he messaged me back with, and I quote, I don't foresee that happening this year. In parentheses, unfortunately, end quote. So, a current state rep in the Oklahoma State House, when I asked him, hey, what do you think about doing this? Literally replies with, yeah, that probably ain't going to happen. And see, now here's the thing. That's on one person. Guess who it is? Yeah, and over here. Technically here. But you the Oklahomans, unless you're from somewhere else, in which case I'm interested why you hit the video. Um but that it literally is on us. Like if the current house, like if you want them to pass a resolution, it may take taking their job because they're not going to do it. I literally asked him, and that could have been an opportunity for him to say, well, you know, I think I'll introduce something a little bit later. No, he was just straight off, yeah, I don't foresee that happening. Okay. So again, which as indicates from the title, yeah, Oklahoma is gay. It became gay. I don't know what happened. But yeah, we're gay. It's in a gay state. And I used to call this the greatest state of the union, but now it's probably going to be I was about to say the gayest state of the union, but that's still California. Yeah, and the two things I'd like to mention before, for some reason, every article I found kept mentioning something sometimes about how a majority of Americans support same-sex marriage. And again, like that's a whole different discussion somewhat, but just because it's supported by the majority doesn't necessarily mean it's right. And if you want a example, slavery. Time framing, obviously. Um, And then, is it really worth our time? And I say yes, because not only is it that we voted on it as Oklahomans, so we definitely want it, but furthermore, it's definitely an intention or a statement of intention from the state, and thus its people to say, no, we do not endorse said behavior. We do not endorse this lifestyle. And I think that's very important in this day and age, especially for the culture where it's like every turn around I look at the youth, which I say the youth ironically as I'm, 23 or whatever. Um, the youth there's a lot of LGBT people. For crying out loud. I went to a high school and it was like I looked at every like it was very weird. I went to I went to Collinsville, and it was very weird because I looked like, for some reason, it was like there was, like, a new gay person, like, every, like, year, and I was like, "What's in the water?" It's like, there was a lot, like, I told my friend that one time, and she's like, "Yep." So, anyways, so, again, to re-incorporate, state questions, 7-11. That's kinda funny. 7-11 in 2004, we voted a 76% on to pass. We are very red compared to the rest of we are red, just as red as some of these other states who have passed these, rulings, although based on a current state rep, we're not gonna get that through. What else is that? Oh, and then based on just all her records, and again, the call to action, and I feel like that's gonna be like, a lot of people see, here's the one thing I would say, sorry, before I a lot of people say call to arms, right? Because, of course, a lot of people call to arms, but, usually who does these, right? Call to arms, right? Like, if Matt Walsh tells you to go out and do some stuff, or, Ben Shapiro or Crowder or what have you, you know, what do they lose or gain, right? Because, like, the one thing I will say with Matt, at least he went to, sorry, let me finish the thought. A lot of people who say a call to action, most of them have no fight in this. They usually just talk about the fight. Um, and then there's me. And that's why I'm very different compared to a bunch of these other, pundits, is the fact that I actually am going to get into the fight. I'm going to make you talk about me because I'm going to be doing some stuff that is very, I wouldn't even just say conservatively, but it's just very just and good for not only the culture, but the state, right? And that's why I say I am far different than, say, Walsh, because unlike, well, like Shapiro, because I actually am gonna get into the fight. Now, Walsh, I will give him points. He did do some of the transgenderism, like talking to the school boards. However, I don't know if that actually, like just because he went in for the attack, did he actually, like, twist the knife into them, or is it just was it more of a, "Hurrah!" And then that was it. So, but anyways, I think that is it. I'm coming up on 40 minutes as I thought I would, which I didn't intend to. I kinda like to blab here and there. So anyways, thank you all for watching. If you think Oklahoma is gay, write it down. Just write "gay," and I'll know what you mean. Um, Excuse me, and if you're from Oklahoma, you should definitely write, "I'm a straight Oklahoman." Sure, sorry, I'm saying stuff now, but, um, anyways, if you liked the video, hit some things, hit the big red button, that helps me out too. Thank you all for the 36 of you that are here, um, and thank for everyone who's watching. So chill, relax, don't be gay. Um, it's gay. Sorry. You know, let's roll. Let's go. Let's do good. Skadoosh.